So we can do what's Hondo on the mic from Leo's Paradise. Random stream drop like a Dragon Ball fight. No lie, plan stream stacking up, but here's a twist in time. Freestyling on the deck like Luffy's punchlines. Up the channel's faceting, Zoro sword swings. Gaming pop culture, it's the chaos he brings. Talking movie reboots, superhero hype. Hondo passing the mic, now Bishop's in sight. Cutting punch clean, frame by frame, I align. Laying bass lines heavy, keep the rhythm divine. Dropping fire videos, can't keep up with the pace. Pass the mic back, Leo's leading the chase. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Playing a knob, Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. No script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on, Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. The rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on, Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life.
Welcome back to the lunch hour. How are all you vital idols doing? I hope you're feeling alright. I hope you're feeling strong. I hope you're feeling healthy. And I hope I can give you something to get you through the work day on a hump day. Hopefully y'all got yourself some protein. You got yourself that good, this green tea. No sugar, of course. And we're going to get into it. We got lots to go over today, guys. We got lots to go over. Obviously, we got what's in the title. Silent Hill being a flop, or is it? We've got, of course, the all the insane craziness with YouTube and what it's doing to its viewers. We've got more than that. Some dudes from the NHS saying that inbreeding is an issue. Doctors apparently being upset as spaghetti about having to actually see patients. All that and more. So, yeah, it's going to be a wild couple of hours, crew. Let's see who all is in the house. We got Colette the Postwall Karens. And, yeah, I read this comment, and homie, if you're still here, I'm going to be real. You're worrying over nothing, dude. You're worrying over nothing. Oh, no, some TV general said some things. Like, if you think you need to be a refugee, dude, you are incredibly mind-melded by the media. They've just... I'm gonna be real, man. That's absolutely insanity. That is falling for fear-mongering at its most bitch-made. I'm gonna be totally honest. What up? EB is in the house. Serrano's here. Yes, again, we're gonna talk about the Konami stuff. Gravestone, how you doing? Sebrew, what up? What up? T-Rex is in the house. St. Hugo is here. Gas Station Burrito. We got Enzo. And then Nadia coming in. Member for 7 months. This is a beautiful bitch. Been a member for 7 months. What a legend. And she asking the real questions. Why am I homosexual? Look, I can give you a whole list of reasons, but I was born this way. Matt Funcool, what is up, brother? Go Carrymon is in the house. Blue Collar Loser, cast the replay. Christ, Leon, Abby's arms are making me jealous. Yeah, she has that effect on people. But you need to emulate Goku's arms, not Abby's. Alrighty. Before we get into the Silent Hill stuff, because I do want to start with the Silent Hill stuff. Before we get into it, obviously, it's the first of the month, which means your boy got it gripped. New month, new YouTube. You know, this is how it works in these YouTube streets. Everything resets after a month. So, obviously, we're doing the tiers. Like normal, if we hit 250, we do a Discord watch party. And we might make it a double, because we already got one tomorrow night. Because you legends hit goal on the last Neon Leon. So, we're already doing one tomorrow night. Maybe we'll do one on a separate day this week, or maybe we'll make it a double feature watch party. I'll leave that up to you. But that's tier 2. But tier 1, you'll be a little different for Halloween season. Every single day that I stream during Halloween season, if we hit a certain tier goal, we will do a horror game on the gaming channel. A little bit of something extra. So yes, tonight, if we can hit tier 1, 150, then we will do a game. We will do a horror gaming stream. As far as the video for tomorrow night, we are doing Thursday. We're watching the movie Thursday on a Thursday. Double feature of The Conjuring 1, 2, and make Leon suffer. You'd have to hit some pretty insane goals for that. You can contribute to it. Alrighty, crew. Alright, now that we've grifted a bit, let's get into it. So, me and Hypno were having this discussion the other day, right? Me and Hypno were having this discussion about numbers, about sales figures, specifically about the new Silent Hill game. And I was going to do a video on this subject. But then Hypno went and did one, and rather than me put in the work to do a video on the subject, I could just ape his content, and instead we'll just watch his. So yeah, he put out a video called "We Need to Stop Lying About Horror Games," and he suspiciously put this out the day after he and I had this conversation. So I can only assume it's based on what he and I were talking about. So let's figure it out.
Silent Hill F has released officially, and Pirate Nation made a post that I don't necessarily agree with.
Okay. All right, this is 100% based on our conversation. I sent this post to Hypno. I was like, yo, this doesn't seem right.
And I'll explain why. So Pirate Nation says, Silent Hill F peaked at only 22,000 players this weekend. What happened, right? So kind of implying that this is bad numbers, that this is not normal, I suppose.
Now, before Hypno gives his thoughts, which again, I know some of them, but he made a 15-minute video on it, so maybe there's some stuff I didn't know, but or I don't know. But this is normal, guys. Like, I'll be real, this is normal. This does not indicate the game being a flop. Most horror games don't do stupidly well like this. Or maybe not like this, but like in general, most horror games don't do stupidly well. So numbers like 22,000, this is about what Silent Hill 2 Remake peaked. Actually, I think it might be a little bit higher than Silent Hill 2 Remake. This is most horror game franchises aren't Resident Evil. They don't do insane numbers. Like, anyone that wasn't expecting numbers like this really doesn't know the player base or the averages of horror games. And this was completely expected. That doesn't mean it's a flop. Also, Silent Hill has always been traditionally, it's been a console series. So with Konami stating that they sold over 1 million copies on day one, I would actually be willing to bet the majority of those were console.
But the reason why I don't agree with this is because it is normal. Like, it is normal as much. And it doesn't mean that by being normal that it's a good thing, because it's not. Like, the numbers are still bad. Just like most Silent Hill numbers have been bad, especially over the last, 10 fucking years.
Well, I wouldn't really say over the last 10 fucking years. There haven't been any Silent Hill games over the last 10 fucking years. It's been a dormant franchise. Nay, I say a dead franchise. I mean, until the remake of Silent Hill 2, we hadn't gotten a proper Silent Hill game since what? Downpour? And that was in like 2012, 2014. Point is, the franchise has been on ice.
22,000 is not actually a bad number when you consider the nicheness of this particular game. And again, I've criticized Silent Hill F and its performance, but I gotta keep it real with you. You know, this is not a terrible number. It's not a great number. They definitely should get more. Silent Hill should get more, but sadly the franchise has fallen off so hard that it's really not gonna get more. It's so niche at this point that I really don't see how this number is necessarily like a super bad thing, right? So again, and I'll show you what I mean. So this is Silent Hill F. Let me go over to SteamDB and give you just a better idea. That's his screenshot. So again, he's trying to imply that this is a bad thing. 22,600.
And note, this is consistent. You don't see any major fall-offs or anything. Now, granted, this is just for opening weekend, but it's consistent, meaning the people that wanted to play this game, the people that wanted to play it on PC, they got it, and they're playing it. I mean, I don't see any... It's not like it was like everyone dropped it. Oh, it's a bait and switch. Now, I haven't played the game yet. I haven't played the game. I want to play the game. I'm a big Silent Hill fan. I'm hearing very mixed things on it. But I'm not going to take what other people say as gospel. I want to play this for myself and then figure it out, because I've already got some pretty unorthodox opinions on Silent Hill to begin with. Most people hate Homecoming. I love Homecoming. Most people say Silent Hill 4 is the worst of the numbered games. It's my personal favorite. So, yeah. Hey, what up, Gamer Empress? How you doing, you beautiful bitch? Also, what up, Dax? Best mod in the whole damn
21
land.
is the all-time peak yesterday. Okay? For Silent Hill F. If you guys want to see exactly how normal this is for a Silent Hill game, I'll give you an example. Let's look at the most recent one that we have. Silent Hill 2 from Blooper Team, right? Just came out not that long ago. Nearly...
Okay. So actually Silent Hill F was a little bit less. But it was only less by about 1,000 people. That's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of people playing the game. And again, Konami didn't do the traditional, oh, we have 1 million players engaged. Like, they stated, we sold 1 million copies.
Identical.
What up, Shieldwall?
Nearly identical. If anything, it's slightly worse. 23,676 all-time peak, right? Nearly identical.
Actually, he says it's worse. While the number is higher, yeah, you could make an argument this is worse because this is a remake of Silent Hill 2. And Silent Hill 2 is the most famous game in the franchise. Maybe you could argue 3, but the point is 2 and 3 are about neck and neck. They're the most famous games in the franchise, and they've been around since the PS2. We got a full ground-up remake of Silent Hill 2 for all the most modern consoles and PC gaming, and it did these numbers? Like, I would say on a reputational basis, yeah, this might actually be worse than the new game in the franchise, which may or may not be a spinoff. I'm not entirely sure. Comes in at only 1,000 less.
So this is why I say, like, is it a bad thing? Not really. Is it a great thing? Not really. It's a Silent Hill thing. That's basically it. Silent Hill is not Resident Evil.
Exactly.
And I hope that people are smart enough to understand that. Silent Hill has never been anywhere near the level of success that Resident Evil has garnered.
Now, people equate the two a lot, and for good reason. Resident Evil and Silent Hill are the two biggest names in horror gaming when it comes to long-running franchises. Like, they're easily number 1 and number 2. And a lot of people prefer Silent Hill because it is a more psychological, frankly, scarier game. But numbers-wise, sales-wise, they've never been close. Like, Silent Hill is a distant number 2. It is the Pepsi to Resident Evil's Coke. So yeah, again, I think it's a brilliant equivalency. Like, yes, it's not Resident Evil. It's still number 2, but it's not Resident Evil.
In terms of player counts and copies sold and everything like that, it never has been. It's always been more of a niche, a horror game. And unfortunately, the franchise fell off big time after the last few entries. So this one in particular, Silent Hill F, being one of those games that is obviously more of a, dare I even say, a spin-off. Like, I wouldn't really call it like a, it's not a...
I don't think, again, I haven't played the game, so I don't know the story. I want to play it. Maybe I'll play it during the Halloween horror gameplay streams if we hit certain goals and whatnot. But, yeah, no, I don't think this is a main entry. It doesn't even have a numbered title. The last numbered title was 4. Everything afterwards has been Homecoming, Downpour, now F. Like, we had, like, some sort of Silent Hill, was it like that free-to-play one that came out, like, last year or whatever. So, yeah, no, I'm with Hypno on this one 100%.
An actual entry to Silent Hill franchise in terms of numerical entry. It is a spin-off, right? But even for a spin-off, it's doing almost near identical. It's doing near identical numbers to a numerical entry remake, right? So Silent Hill 2 did 23,000. Silent Hill F did 22,000. These numbers make sense, and they're not like Silent Hill F was never going to be a 100,000 plus concurrent player game. It's just not, it's not happening. It's not, I'm sorry.
The only quote unquote horror games that do numbers like this are, again, Resident Evil. You know, maybe you can get, I don't even think you'll get 100,000 people doing Resident. Hold on, actually, let's check. Let's see what Resident Evil 7 and or like the remake of 4, what their numbers are. Let's see, Steam DB. All right, here we got. All right, let's check this out. Let's do Resident. Well, there we go. Resident Evil 4, and we'll go to charts. Okay, so yeah, Resident Evil 4 did those numbers. 168,000, almost 169,000. No, yeah, 168,000. What about Resident Evil? Yeah, Village, number 8. 106,000. So even the newest entry that's not a remake in the Resident Evil franchise didn't do the numbers of Resident Evil 4. So yeah, again, Hypno is entirely correct in this assessment. The only quote-unquote horror games that do numbers like that are like multiplayer party horror games like Repo. Repo did massive numbers. That's due to streamers, it being a party game. It's more of a soft horror as opposed to, it's also multiplayer. Again, that's a big deal as opposed to single player. So yeah, this completely checks out.
It's not happening for a Silent Hill game. So You can imply that that's terrible. You can imply that that's awful, but I'm just going to call it normal. Personally, I'm going to call it normal, and I'm going to call it pretty much on brand for a Silent Hill game. If you want another example of something similar, right? And just like, and again, keep in mind, for horror games, this is pretty normal. Let me give you another example, right? Look at Chronos. I'm thoroughly enjoying Chronos. I think Chronos is a really good game. Okay, I'm about
I've
to
yet to
finish
play
it
Chronos.
pretty
I want to
soon.
play Chronos.
But if you look at Chronos, it only got to 5,295.
Damn! I wouldn't expect it to be that low. Holy shit.
5,295 all-time peak. You know what I mean? And it's actually a really good game. So it really, like, I'm telling you, man, when it comes to horror games, you can't be going into this with the mindset of like, oh, if it's not doing 100,000, it's not winning. It's like, guys, horror games tend to sell over time when the game is put on massive discount because not many people are going out there to play horror games on day one. It's just not that kind of a game. It's just not.
I would consider Silent Hill in my top 10 favorite franchises of all time when it comes to gaming. And even I didn't get Silent Hill F day one. I didn't get Silent. Now, to be fair, it dropped right next to Sonic Crossworlds. So I had to pick one or the other. And obviously, your boy's going to go with the Sonic game. But, like, in all reality, even with it being a top 10 franchise for me, yeah, I didn't buy Silent Hill F day one. I might buy it for this spooky season to play on stream with you guys. But even then, that's only a maybe.
That kind of a franchise. And if it is, it's most likely going to be a Resident Evil game. A Resident Evil game are that's the franchise. That's the quote unquote horror game. That's the one that's going to do big numbers on day one. But pretty much almost everything else is not really going to do that. Right. So, and again, I'm not saying these are good numbers because they're not. Right. Chronos hitting 5,200 is not a good number. I was really hoping that the game would do 10 to 15,000, maybe 20,000. You know what I mean? But it's not going to do good numbers. I'm curious what Dead Space did. What did Dead Space do? Let me see. Dead Space. This is pretty good.
There we go.
But
he says it's pretty good, and it's true. 30,000, right? So the remake of Dead Space. Again, Dead Space, one of the most famous horror franchises in gaming. Like, by the way, owes all of its success to the original Resident Evil 4. It was directly inspired by Resident Evil 4. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, Dead Space. This is a ground-up remake of the original game that people had clamored for. And when it comes out, 31,000 almost. Like, that's modest. That's fine. That's respectable. That's about what you think for a horror game. But this isn't that 160,000 from Resident Evil 4 remake. So it's just how horror games operate. So we need to start being intellectually honest about whether or not games are flops or whatnot. And the whole reason we're even covering this, is because I see a lot of folk on the anti-woke side of stuff that they don't like insert game here because of politics, because of Sweet Baby Inc., because female players, and whatever it may be. And so they'll be quick to jump to the idea that the game's a flop. But that's not necessarily true, like, whatsoever.
Dead Space also had good word of mouth for a long period of time. So when they came out with this particular remake of Dead Space, it doing 30,000, it already had an established fan base over many years. Over many years, it had an established fan base. So this makes sense. Dead Space doing 30,000 makes sense. And that's with a long history of fans over many years. What about Dead Space 2, out of curiosity? Look at this, Dead Space.
Now, to be fair, Dead Space 2, this came out 15 years ago. Obviously, console gaming was way bigger at the time. Who even had a Steam account 15 years ago? Besides Hypno, his is almost like 20 years old. Most people didn't have it. So, like, to state that it's, its all-time player count at 2,500 15 years ago, I don't know that that's a fair comparison. You need to do some adjust for inflation style numbers the same way. Like, yeah, Gone with the Wind is like the adjusted for inflation. It's the highest selling movie of all time. That being said, you can't really compare, Gone with the Wind from the 30s into what movies do now. You're really buzzed right now. Thank you for calling me. I'm happy to do it, brother. I'm happy to do it.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
I don't know why I hit that particular button, that clip for you. It was just the first one my finger hit. But yeah, you'll have to see it. Thank you, bud.
These two, 14 years ago, 2,400. You know what I mean? Like,
You thought, Matt Funkel, you thought Hypnotic was older than what? I said his Steam account is 20 years old. Yeah, Hypnotic's Steam account's like 20 years old.
these games do not look. Dead Space 3, 1,100.
Well, to be fair, Dead Space 3 sucked and everyone hated it. That's not quite the same thing. Dead Space 3 was maligned by the fans.
You know what I mean? What about the OG? The OG, I don't think is gonna do. Can you even get the OG? Can you get the OG on Steam anymore? Yeah, right here, Dead Space 2008, 2,300. You know, so again, these games, these horror games, they don't hit like that. They don't hit like that. They have to get many years of cheap pricing. You know, being sold at $4. That's what it has to be. You know, Joker says Dead Space 3 was Origin exclusive. Yeah, for a little while. That don't mean a fucking thing, bro. With all due respect, that don't mean anything. Because it could be Origin exclusive. That just means it's sold even less than what we're seeing here on Steam. Guaranteed. So what about Callisto Protocol? I bet you this shit didn't do very well. That's actually,
I won't lie, 17.5 for Callisto Protocol. That's actually even higher than I thought it would, because this game was also maligned. Everyone was hyped for this game. Everyone was stoked for this game. And then when it dropped, it was so goddamn underwhelming that I couldn't even pretend it to. Like, I was stoked for this game. And then I actually saw it, and when it came out, I was like, oh shit, never mind. I'm not even gonna fucking bother. So yeah, I'm surprised it got 17.5.
not bad. But again, it's right in the same realm. 17,580, right? So almost 18,000 for the Callisto Protocol. It's right in the same ballpark. All these games are always being in the same ballpark. 15,000, 20,000, 25, 30 at the highest. Like, unless it's a Resident Evil game. Let's see. Is Resident Evil doing any better? Let's see. Let's go to what was
I would like to point out I beat Hypno to it. I beat Hypno to looking up Resident Evil.
the big one? Resident Evil, I guess 2 was a pretty big remake. Look at the difference. 74,000. 74,000. This is like you guys gotta. I'm telling you, man. Resident Evil is on a whole different level. Look at this. Resident Evil 4, 168,000. Resident Evil is the only one that goes into the normie number level. Otherwise, for other horror games, it's not going to happen usually.
Again, he's entirely correct. It cannot be, explained as much that while I love covering video games and like the culture surrounding video games and frankly the problems with the game industry, I do my best. I know a lot of us in like the SNA sphere, the Bigot Army, the Vital Idols, whatever Will calls his homies, we do our best to be intellectually honest about these sorts of things. And I don't see the same thing from a lot of people. When you see Pirate Nation out there being like, oh, peaked at 22,000, what happened? Nothing. That's normal.
Right? 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. So that's why when I see these posts and they try to imply that, XYZ game is bad because of, the numbers are doing bad or whatever, like they're like, what happened? Like, what do you mean what happened? What happened is what always happens, which is these
right.
Horror games 9 times out of 10 are not, they're just not going to work. Joker says you are comparing console eras to today, though. What are we talking about? I'm looking at Steam.
Joker was correct when he's talking about Dead Space 1 and 2, sure. But those are outliers. Like, yeah, I agree with Joker. You can't compare console era. But Callisto Protocol and the recent Resident Evil games and Silent Hill F, the remake of Dead Space, those are all very valid comparisons.
Numbers all across the board. What are we talking about? I don't get it. I'm looking at modern horror games. Like, this is the Resident Evil 4 remake on Steam, and I'm comparing it to other horror games on Steam. Where did consoles come into play? I'm confused. Violent City says, well, console for Resident Evil will still blow them out. You would think so. You would think so, but that's not necessarily the case anymore. Because when it comes to Capcom, Capcom has openly admitted that PC is their main market now. A small majority of their sales is on PC, meaning about 55% of all of their sales come from the PC platform now. They are now majority PC platform, which is crazy considering Capcom's legacy. You know?
I mean, it's really not that crazy. Their legacy is starting off in the arcades. So making PC the majority, which is a more social platform than consoles, makes perfect sense. So yeah, no, I think that Capcom is sort of making the correct move. The problem with Capcom is in the actual writing and trying to appease everybody, which will of course in turn appease nobody.
So we shall see. We shall see. Joker says those days most players were on console. PC grew a lot after COVID. Yeah, that's fine. But that's why I'm looking at the modern horror games now and comparing them to the modern remakes. Again, my point still stands, right? So if I'm looking at...
Wait, Flynn's Nest Resurrection, you say what IPs does Capcom have nowadays? Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, Devil May Cry? Like, off the top of the dome, those four are massive. Massive. What do you mean what IPs does Capcom have nowadays? Capcom is, dude, they are one of the few third-party companies that are still like 100% just in the game. Capcom drops a game and it's usually, at least if nothing else, hyped beyond hype. Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, I heard that game was dog shit, but it was hype beyond hype. So, yeah, did they bring back Onimusha? That's correct. They're bringing back Okami? That's correct. I mean, yeah, man, you be sleeping on some Capcom if that's your thought.
If I'm looking at horror games, I'm not talking about Dead Space. Forget Dead Space. I'm not worried about that. I'm looking at the modern horror games, right? Modern non-Resident Evil horror games are in the 15 to 20,000 ballpark figure for concurrent players almost every single time. Unless it's a Resident Evil game, then those games are the
yeah,
ones
I
that
want a
hit
new
the
Dino
normie
Crisis
numbers.
as
Those
well,
are the
but
ones
not
that
with
hit
the Capcom we have right
70,000,
now.
80,000, 100,000, 150,000. Like, those are the ones that do it.
The issues, Leon, there are a lot of us, myself included, who play very few Capcom games, so I can't often recall their franchise. That's crazy. Even if you don't, like I'm gonna be real, I don't play fucking Call of Duty, but I know it exists. I don't play, really nowadays, I don't play Pokemon. The idea that every game I just listed, how do people forget Street Fighter, dude? Like, hey, what are some Capcom IPs? I don't know. Street Fighter, the fighting game that has ruled all fighting games since Street Fighter 2 back in the arcades? Like, Devil May Cry? You mean the game Devil May Cry 5 sold gangbusters? It just got a new, albeit incredibly shitty, animated adaptation? I don't know how people can't, at least recall those four Capcom IPs. They are, like, Capcom has, if you get listed the top 20 most famous gaming IPs, those four would probably be in the list. Maybe not Monster Hunter, but Resident Evil, Street Fighter, and Devil May Cry for sure would crack the top 20 most famous. And you can maybe even make an argument Monster Hunter as well. That's now their highest selling IP. Resident Evil was the highest selling Capcom IP for almost all of Capcom's lifespan since they invented Resident Evil. And then Monster Hunter overtook it recently. Yeah, Mega Man as well, Lenny Hondo. Mega Man as well.
It's not really anything else, you know? So that's why, like, when people look at these modern horror games that aren't Resident Evil and they say, you know, well, why is it not hitting XYZ numbers? And it's because they almost never do. You know, it's like a false equivalency, you know? So, but in any case, that's where we're at with Resident Evil F. Resident Evil F. Oh my God, Silent Hill F. That's where we're at with Silent Hill F. I don't think the numbers are going to get much higher, to be honest with you. And I'm sure people are going to try to cope and lie and say, well, maybe the console numbers are higher. Like, not really. They're...
No, well, to be fair, I do think the console numbers are higher. This is where I'm going to disagree with Hypno. I do think the console numbers are higher because, again, Konami stated they sold 1 million copies on day one. So I for sure think the console numbers are higher. But again, Silent Hill has traditionally always been a console game. Always. I mean, Silent Hill came out on the PS1? Early PS2? Silent Hill 2 and 3, PS2. Silent Hill 4, PS2. Then with the PS3 era, they were still putting out games. They were just side games. So PS3, you had Homecoming, you had Downpour. They had a lot of handheld games. You know, like Silent Hill Shattered Memories was on the PS Vita, I believe. So yeah, I mean, these are 100%. I do think the numbers are probably better on console.
They're not. They're just not. Somebody said check B-side. Sure.
If we do a DMC Season 2 watch party, y'all are going to have to pay some big bucks for that bullshit.
Let's see, B-side. What's B-side doing? Again, my God, it's so consistent. It is literally so consistent, bro. 23,741. And this game, when it first came out, was
on
super
Wii as
popular.
well. All right, thank you, Rabnad.
People were talking about it like crazy. 23,000.
Silent Hill Origins was on PS Vita. That's one thing.
So, again,
Silent Hill
guys,
Origins was on the PSP.
The genre is just not. It's not built like that, right? Most horror games are gonna fall into the same category.
No, Flynn. You misunderstand. What I mean is, for me to put up with that bullshit, y'all are gonna have to pay me. Season 1 of the Devil May Cry adaptation has been my most hate. That is my Last Jedi. That is my modern The Last Jedi. So if y'all want to watch that fucking dog shit when it comes out, you're gonna need to pay, baby. Y'all gonna need to pay.
Whereas Resident Evil is transcended past that. Resident Evil has transcended past the limitations of the horror genre, which is normally around like 20,000, 25,000. You know? So in any case, people saying check Soma. I mean, we could check every single fucking game. Soma came out a while ago, though. It's 10 years ago. It's really old. Alien Isolation. This game got popular over time, but its concurrent player base was only 11,000 5 years ago. But I guarantee you, yeah, I was gonna say
we could do a tier to make that happen. We do a tier to make. I have to dress up as Jill Valentine. 100%. I would do that. I would definitely do that.
Guarantee you this thing sold millions of copies because it was put on sale so many times. Bro, this game was as cheap as $2. $2 fucking dollars, guys. $2, right? So this is what happens with horror games. Horror games end up building a fan base over a long period of time through whoring themselves out, because they're not video games that usually sell on day one in a mass amount. They're just not. That's just not the kind of games that they are.
And beyond that, it's also a more niche genre. Of all the famous genres out there, like, you know, you got your fighting games, you got your RPGs, you got your action adventure games. Horror is more niche because horror games are not the same as horror movies. When you go to see a horror movie, I mean, yeah, it's scary if you get scared by that sort of thing. But there's no interactivity. There is that barrier between you and the film. But horror games are inherently scarier because of that level of interactivity that you don't get with movies. And so horror games, by and large, also, there's a higher barrier of entry to them.
So over time, they get hoarded out, and then they end up building a fan base, and then hopefully, if they release a sequel, it'll do a higher number at retail price. But usually it doesn't happen. Exactly. $2 game, that's going to sell. Yeah, who the fuck is going to turn down a $2 game? Like, almost nobody's going to turn that down. So, in any case, that's what I wanted to say about Silent Hill F, because, again, I've had my criticisms about Silent Hill F, but that doesn't mean we're going to lie about the numbers. Like, the numbers are the numbers, and they're that way for a reason. And, you know, I don't think anybody expected anything otherwise, to be honest with you. So, let's continue. Let me X that out really quick.
Lenny Hondo, what up? Send a Words of Paradise gifted membership, my man, with a plan. You'll love to see it. That puts us, $5 closer to tier 1. We now at $7. We can go higher. You guys can do this. Let's get a gameplay stream going. But yo, you'll love to see it. Thank you so much. This is for you, brother.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Asura says, I wouldn't buy Veilguard for $2. I wouldn't buy Veilguard. Turtle says, why don't you like Silent Hill? I didn't say I don't like it. I said I have criticisms about it and its performance and whatnot, but I never said I'd like it. I'm going to be reviewing the game myself after I'm done with Chronos. I'm almost done with Chronos and New Dawn, and I'll be moving on to Silent Hill F. That'll be the next game that I'm going to be reviewing. So should be pretty exciting. Check
Hey,
Tales of the
look at that. Tiger X King is in both. He's here in our chat, and then right here, I'm Chinese. $2 is expensive.
Shire. Oh my god. This game is doing terrible. They already have it on sale for 20% off, by the way. Tales of the Shire is on sale for 20% off already, and this shit just came out. It's crazy. 380 people playing right now, 6,700 all-time peak, and it is on sale for 20% off already. Damn. That's crazy. That's crazy. Great job. Great job to well, you know who, anyway. After 1 month, less than 1 month, I think, right? Something like that.
Excellent video from Hypno. Excellent video. Yeah, again, for the most part, I agree with him completely. I'm gonna drop this link if you guys haven't subbed, because this is actually on his second channel. This is on his gaming channel. So you guys might not be subbed to it. So yeah, if you guys want to sub to Hypno's second channel, check that out. Tomorrow we'll also be reacting to a video he put out today about Resident Evil 9 on his second channel. So that's to give you a little sneak preview for tomorrow. Xavier coming in with a Words Paradise gifty as well. Thank you so much, brother. Truly appreciated. You love to see it. Let's see. What clip are we gonna give you? You know what? This one works.
I'd fuck one of the robot dogs.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Thank you so much, brother. Truly appreciate it. Alrighty. Let's get into the weird wild. Have you hit the Steam sales? Not yet. I'm going to, but I haven't hit them yet. I'm definitely going to. A lot of games on my wish list are on sale. So, like, I'm definitely thinking about diving in. But yeah, no, I haven't gotten to it quite yet. Yo, Zax, what are you doing here, homie? You better be enjoying your vacation rather than being here, brother. Alrighty, this was put in the React request portion of the Discord. Doctors will go on strike over having to actually see payments. To see patients. What? Okay.
We'll strike if you make it too easy to get an appointment, say GPs. When the doctor has to doctor. Family doctors fear government plans to improve online booking systems will overwhelm practices. Why are the practices...
Oh, hold on. Hold on. I'm feeling the other side of this at the gate. You mean the government's getting involved in forcing a family practice, forcing a local business to change how things were done? Look, healthcare ain't a right. All of a sudden, I'm starting to side with the doctors, just based on this initial assessment.
He's overwhelmed. Why aren't they being funded enough? Because this is the thing is, everybody remembers COVID. Everyone remembers that it was already pretty difficult to get a doctor's appointment before COVID. And then ever since COVID, doctors just became these ethereal beings. Like, are they real? When was the last time you even saw one? And they're still saying that they're overwhelmed. I wonder why they're being overwhelmed. Are there more people or something? But anyway... GPs are threatening to strike.
I guess it's fair. This is in the UK, where it's basically socialized medicine anyway, so it's not like they have much of a fucking chance.
If the NHS makes it too easy for patients to get an appointment. But usually it's like a schedule, right? You know, if there's no appointment there, then you just don't get an appointment. Like, oh, we've got a slot at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, then you take that one. The doctors can't be in multiple places at once. They have a schedule with which to take their appointments. Right, so you can't like double book or anything like that. A doctor can only take so many appointments in a certain period of time.
Yeah, I agree fucking both.
So
I'm terrified of doctors. I don't go to the doctor unless I
going to be overwhelmed.
Have to.
Oh, you're going to have to work your whole shift. Oh my God, how awful. How awful, man. I mean, you know, that six-figure salary doesn't come for fucking free. But anyway, the British Medical Association has said it will take industrial action if the government goes ahead with plans to improve access to online booking systems. Patients group said that the union's position was lazy and would make life harder for patients. I think doctors loved it during COVID because they're like, oh my God, I'm just turning up and getting paid for nothing. Let's just like keep this going because it is fucking impossible to get an appointment with your doctor. Impossible. I will save it all for the end. Wes Streeting, the health secretary, said that he would not stand for progress being held back, saying it was absurd to be able to book a hairdresser appointment online, but not for a GP. The NHS has drawn up plans which should mean that from October the 1st, every GP practice allows patients to use online systems to request an appointment. It follows widespread criticism over the difficulty of booking appointments, and that's something, in fact, I'm not saving this for the fucking end. They give you like an hour or half-hour window very, very early in the morning. There's some places that say, oh, if you want an appointment, you have to call between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, or 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock, or 9 o'clock until 9:30 when most people are in fucking work.
To be fair, I had to do the same literally today with the cat's vet. Like today, Valkyrie is getting transed. Valkyrie is getting his balls cut off today, and the appointment was for 8 in the morning. So your boy, who traditionally sleeps till like 11 in the morning because I'm privileged, got up real early like today. Got up at 7:30, took the cat to the vet, and I mean, hey, shit needs done. Docs can only see you at certain times,
and they can't do it. Right? That has been the case all over the place, and it's been since COVID. And you don't even get to talk to a doctor. You have to, like, in fact, if you're lucky enough to get through, because you'll have to keep phoning, you are number 12 in the queue. And then if you're still like 12 in the queue when it passes like the half-hour mark or the hour mark when the lines close, boom, that's it. You don't get an appointment. Right? Or they'll just say, or they'll just get the engaged tone and you keep having to hang up, dial back, and you've got everybody fucking doing that, trying to get an appointment, and nobody gets through. And the receptionist is just sitting there like... And on the very rare occasion you do get through, you don't get to speak to a doctor, you get to speak to a receptionist. Now,
he is correct. And to be fair, it's like this in America as well. You see the doctor for all of 2 minutes, everything else is done by a nurse. Doctor don't give a fuck, son.
Bear in mind, this is a receptionist. She probably doesn't have any degree of any kind. That's why she's a receptionist, right? And then you have to explain to this fucking receptionist with no medical expertise whatsoever what is wrong with you, and then she gets to decide if that is serious enough to warrant an appointment. And the appointment you get will probably be about 3-4 weeks from now. By that point, the tumour's too big and you're probably dead, right? That's the problem that a lot of people are having with booking their appointments, right? So I think an online system showing you what slots are free would be a very good thing. Oh,
this is not just a problem in the UK, mind you. My grandmother needs an eye exam. She needs to get new glasses. She set up the appointment, I believe, in August, and there was not an opening until this month, October. At some point this month, I'm going to be taking my grandmother to the eye doctor so that she can get a new prescription and whatnot. Like, what do you mean you set up for an appointment in August to get your eyes checked, and as soon as they can see you is fucking October? That is bananas.
Oh, how are we going to stop people from blocking up all the appointments? That's fine. See all the patients that you've got registered, they have an identification number. Use that. Use that. All patients have an ID number with their GPs. Use that as their login. How do we know you're a real person? Here's my ID, here's my address, blah, blah, blah. Fill it out, book the appointment. And to stop people abusing it, you get one appointment per ID. System's fixed, there you are. But the GPs just don't want to fucking work. Practices should still allow patients to book slots using the phone or by turning up in person. I mean, yeah, obviously. Loads of oldies still do that. But the BMA says that
I book everything via phone. Not just doctors and whatnot, because I don't go to the doctor, but anything I can book via phone, I book via phone. I don't want to text. I don't want to use a goddamn online service or whatnot. Call me old school. I want to talk to a real fucking person. I want to get a confirmation number. I want to write that shit down. I want to know who I spoke to. I do all that shit over the phone.
Moves are being introduced without sufficient safeguards to stop practices being overwhelmed by patients. Create a rota. Create a rota. And the rotas are things that I know that you do have. Like, I have an appointment at 3 o'clock. So I won't book anybody else in at 3 o'clock. There you are. Manage your day. Set appointment slots. Show what slots are available. One person per appointment. There you are. You can't see 2 patients at once. I don't want to sit in a room with other people telling everybody the shit that's wrong with my balls. Right? I have an Indian doctor. She's had to touch my balls many, many, many times. Long story. Oh, that poor woman. But still, right, you're not going to get overwhelmed. Just create a fucking rota. Online portal. There you are. 3 o'clock's taken. Sorry. go to 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or the next fucking day or something like that. We're going to be overwhelmed. What were you doing before? What were you doing before? Like, some people haven't seen a GP in like over 2 fucking years because of COVID. Right? Maybe if you actually did some fucking work and didn't have this huge backlog of people who probably have cancer and they're probably going to die because you're fucking lazy. Like, maybe if you hadn't have done that, you wouldn't be overwhelmed. Or just create a fucking rota. These are all excuses. For doctors, they're not that smart. These excuses aren't even believable. Extra hurdles for patients. Dennis Reed from patients group Silver Voices said, "This is crazy. They are complaining about moves that would make life easier for patients. It sounds like they want to deter patients by making it more difficult for them and putting extra hurdles in the way." Yes.
Again, two things can be true. Two things can be true. That doctors can be lazy pieces of shit that don't want to fix you. And the government can also be exercising overreach by forcing them as private business owners to, do insert new policies and whatnot here. So there are no good guys in this scenario. Like, basically, at the end of the day, there are no good guys in this scenario. Doctors suck and the government is evil.
That is exactly what they're doing, and have been doing that for a very long time. Doctors, GPs, are some of the laziest people that you will know. Right, they are so fucking lazy. How many times have you had to visit a doctor before you finally got the actual diagnosis of what was wrong with you? For me, the record's 5. 5 visits I had to go back over the course of a fucking year. This was years and years ago, mind you. This was years and years ago before I finally had to go and get a scan for something. Funnily enough, the scan didn't actually show anything, which ruled something out, so I get diagnosed with... I've got ocular migraines. I go blind in one eye sometimes, and I have a migraine that lasts for like 2 days, and I'm vomiting constantly, and I become delirious and everything. See how your standard migraines that you get? I have them on steroids. I've been hospitalised with them before and everything as well. It's not fun.
Fuck every bit of that.
Not fun not being able to see out one of your eyes for 2 days. It sucks. But yeah.
You know what, War Wizard? I like it. Fair enough. Doctors are evil and the government is evil.
Brain scan for me to get diagnosed with that. Whereas when I went to my private doctor, he knew what it was fucking right away. I know. They need to make it as easy as possible for those who can book online, rather than making everyone phone or go to the reception to make an appointment. I think people will see this as lazy. This dispute will make it harder for patients when it's hard enough already. GPs carried out industrial action last year over claims practices were underfunded. Well, you're not seeing any patients, so what expenses do you fucking have? Work to rule measures included capping the number of appointments at 25 per day. Is that like per doctor or like per clinic? Because if it's 25 per day per clinic, then that is fucking abysmal. That is bullshit. The BMA has...
I would imagine it's per doctor, right? Although, I don't know how it is in the UK. A lot of, like, just general practitioners, a lot of family clinics and whatnot here in the US only have the one doctor. Oftentimes, you've got about 3 or so. So, if you've got 3 doctors for a clinic, that's 75 patients per day. I don't know, is that normal? I don't know. I don't go to the doctor, so I don't know what any of this is in terms of what's normal.
To decide what a new dispute with the government could involve. From October the 1st, GP surgeries in England will be required to keep their online bookings tool open for patients to make non-urgent appointment requests from 8 AM to 6:30 PM Monday to Friday. Good. That's great. What slots are available? I'm free. Bush, bang. There you go. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. You can go on and book your own appointment. The national commitment was announced by the Department of Health and Social Care and the NHS England in February as part of the new GP contract for 2025 to 26 in a bid to end the 8 AM scramble for appointments on the phone. Because yes, everyone complains about that. Everybody fucking hates it. It's literally killing people. Because people are not able to get through on the phone lines, and they're trying day after day, week after week, and by then, whatever's wrong with them has gotten so serious that they require emergency surgery that they might not survive, or the truth.
I mean, he says it's literally killing people, and, depending on the people in the UK that it's killing, it might not be a bad thing. I'm not saying I want people to die. I'm just saying that, like, if we were to look at this objectively and logistically, depending on the type of individual that's in the UK, some of them not there legally, this might not be a problem. Seems like a problem that sorts itself out.
Rumors got too big, or something's happened. Basically, whenever it comes to serious medical health issues, time is everything. Time is everything. Days matter. Minutes matter sometimes, but if it's minutes, then you should be phoning 999, not the GP. But you know what I mean. Like, the way that they're doing it right now because they're too lazy is actually killing people. right? So end the 8 a.m. rush for the fucking phone. At the time, officials said that said safeguards would be put in
No,
place
that's that
to
Obamacare
avoid
for you,
urgent
Lenny.
clinical requests being erroneously submitted online. However, the BMA said this had not been put in place, nor had extra staff been hired to manage what it predicted to be a barrage of online requests. The union said current systems are unable to distinguish between non-urgent and urgent patient queries, and said the volume of incoming requests without extra staff to review them could mean high-risk cases are missed.
What do you mean the current systems can't distinguish between urgent and not? Bro, you could build a program for that in a fucking night. Like just a semi-talented programmer could build a program for that in a single fucking night. What are you talking? How bass-ackwards is this country?
Most GP practices already offer, well, basically just do the little appointment. If it's not that serious, just go, oh, you're fine, out you go, carry on with the next appointment. Most GP practices already offer some online booking, but access is variable, with variation in the way they phrase warnings to seek immediate help in urgent situations. Dr. Katie Bramall, the chairman of the BMA GP committee, said, the Secretary of State knows that when these changes come into effect, it will likely lead to the creation of hospital-style waiting lists in general practice, reduce face-to-face GP appointments, as we'll be triaging a barrage of online requests, consequently putting patients at risk of harm as we try to find the urgent cases among the huge pile of unmet patient need that is out there. Maybe hire someone to review them, not the fucking receptionist. Maybe have a little thing where, what are your symptoms? Basically, they do this whenever you, the Yanks won't know about this. But see, over here we have something called NHS 24, which is basically like a doctor helpline kind of, where you phone up and say, hi there, I'm not sure if I should book in with a GP or if this is serious. It's a sort of a, I'm not sure, or can I have a little bit of guidance of how to deal with this issue? We used to have to phone it a lot because basically where Morag kept breaking out in rashes all the time, and we were sitting, I immediately did the cold glass trick. And they vanished, so that was a huge weight off my mind. But basically, we were like, what could be causing it? What's this? And they advise you, oh, get this cream, get this, make sure there's not an allergy to this, try a little bit of parrot. And basically, they give you, like, medical guidance, right? But what they do whenever you phone them for any kind of serious thing is they go through, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you ever get a tightness in your chest? You know, can you clench just fine? Can you smile just fine? Is your smile symmetrical? They ask you, like, the serious things. Well, basically, if you answer yes to any of these, then that's an indicator of something pretty bad. So if you answer yes to any of them, then that is a serious case and you let it go through. They do it on NHS 24. I don't know why they can't do it on the portal. I don't know why they can't do that. Mr. Streeting needs to listen to us. And also, the people you're saying that to decide urgent cases or not is not a doctor, it's the receptionist.
Maybe I'm retarded, guys. Maybe I'm retarded. I've never had a problem knowing if what I was going through at the moment was urgent or not. Like when I got blood clots, and it was not from the vaccine, I'm unvaccinated, just so y'all know. I want to make that clear. But when I got blood clots a couple years ago, after the third day of immense, immeasurable pain, which, by the way, good thing I ended up going to the fucking emergency room, because they're like, oh yeah, if you'd wait another 24 hours, you've been fucking dead. But like, after the third day of some of the worst pain I'd ever been in my life, I was like, yeah, it's probably time to go to the doctor. This is pretty serious. When I had a 100 and like 106 degree fever or something, and I was literally hallucinating, and my ex-wife firemen threw me over her shoulder, like fucking put me in the car and drove me to the hospital. Yeah, it turns out there was some bad fucking shit going on. Like, I knew that was serious. You wanna know how I know it's serious? Because I don't have any memory of even getting to the hospital and then waking up in the middle of a spinal tap. Point is, if you need to call someone on the phone to be like, hey, is what's going on with me serious? If you have the ability to call someone on the phone, it to me doesn't seem that serious. That's just me. If you have the ability to question and take the appropriate steps to get the question answered, it's probably not that serious. Everybody knows if you smell toast, you're having a fucking stroke. So if you smell toast, there's no toast, it's serious. Go to the fucking hospital. Like,
It's the receptionist. She is not a medical professional. She's a receptionist. Those are the people that you're currently using to decide whether appointments are urgent or not. But anyway, Mr. Streeting needs to listen to us and understand how we believe GPs can deliver his ambitions safely. Well, you have had a few years since COVID and you've not made any effort to do that whatsoever. General Practice is the leader in NHS tech innovation. We do everything online, from systems to prescriptions, referrals, and appointments. We're not resistant to change, but we will be when you were fucking pretty quick when you got to shut down during COVID, when the safety of patients and practice staff is at risk. How have the practice staff safety at risk? What, they're at risk from doing actual appointments? The government...
No, what they're at risk of is someone from a foreign nation, and one of those foreign invaders that are taking over the UK come in, and they want to get seen, but then they see women out there that don't have their face covered, so they start throwing a fit and smashing up the joint. That's what they're at risk of. They're at risk of violence from your foreign invaders.
Has 48 hours to change course, avoid this dispute,
Thank you,
and
LMA.
keep to their promises. Mr. Streeton said, it is absurd that in 2025, many patients can't request appointments online. If you can book a hair appointment online, you should be able to book an NHS appointment too. Many GPs are already offering this service, and now it will be provided to patients across the country. This move, which the BMA agreed to, will support GPs to care for their patients who need non-urgent care. We have agreed clear safeguards where patients will be directed to phone up or attend in person for urgent appointments. The BMA knows this, so they've actually already had this told to them. He said the government had invested record sums into general practice and hired 2,000
two
extra
gifties
GPs.
and
Mr.
two
Streeting
banger,
said this
Kalika.
government will always put the interests of patients first, and we will not stand for our NHS being held back in the analogue age. It comes as research shows rising levels of complaints from the public about poor access to GP appointments. Rising levels is putting it mildly. Everyone is complaining about it. Everyone. It's went nuclear because it's fucking killing people. A survey of more than 2,000 GPs by Kagora, publisher of Pulse magazine, found 70% of practice staff say that complaints about access have increased since the pandemic. Because a lot of the GPs are still under pandemic rules where they're doing everything they can to prevent people from coming down. Well, they just sit in their offices and twiddle their thumbs. Almost half.
Wait, is that... I mean, I don't doubt that's true. I was going to ask if that's true. Like, the idea that the fucking UK government went in, made it harder to see a doctor during COVID. COVID's long over with, but none of those restrictions have lifted, and so the doctors got real used to this cushy life of not having to fucking do their job. And now they're doing everything they can to fight against those restrictions being lifted. Yeah, that does in fact sound like the medical industry. What up, Paul? What up, Emily?
Patients' continuity of care was their biggest priority. While less than 1/3 said that waiting times for appointments was at the top of their list. And this is the thing that's funny, is a lot of them are doing everything they can to avoid giving people appointments, and the doctors are saying, oh, we're going to go on strike. You're already not doing anything.
That was incredible. Good recommendation in the chat. That was recommended in the Discord. Look, I will take any option I can to dunk on doctors. I will take any opportunity I can to dunk on doctors and any opportunity I can to dunk on the government. That video allowed us to do both, so very well done. I think there was Fab, there was fantastically, amazingly brilliant who posted that. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like she's here for the stream today, so sorry, Red, your video without you being here. That's the risk you take when you put something in the Discord. But yeah, fuck the government, fuck doctors. Like, that's amazing. And I can't say too much about what's going on here in the West either, here in America, because our medical system's just as fucked, but it's fucked for different reasons. So, yeah, you'll love to see it. Alrighty. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of today's show. Meat and potatoes of today's show. YouTube responded, creators were right to panic. Now, we talked about this a little bit on Niat's show on Sunday. But this was put in the Discord to react to as well, and frankly, even though I haven't seen this video, I know the concept. Being on YouTube, being a YouTuber, I try to stay up on this stuff. Yeah, things are fucked right now, guys. Things are real fucked right now.
Situation with YouTube views, well, now we've got a bit of a resolution to it, as well as a bunch of things that are going to impact your experience directly. So,
spoiler alert, I doubt we have resolutions. So, something tells me that we don't have resolutions.
Oh, YouTube themselves is not to blame for the view count thing, at least not entirely, because the
I already don't believe that. I already don't believe this, that YouTube's not the one to blame. Bullshit.
truth is that something did change, and thanks to investigative coders, we actually know exactly what happened to all of those views. But it's not the end of the story, because we need to talk about YouTube's ecosystem. It is changing, and there is a climate of pressure that is, well, making creators think that a lot of these AI experiments are going to be dangerous to their livelihood. Goddamn, YouTube recently had an event where they announced so many features.
YouTube is owned by Google. If so facto, yes, they're responsible. It doesn't matter if it's YouTube or Google. They're the fucking same. That's like being like, well, Sam's Club isn't responsible. Walmart is. You're splitting hairs.
They kind of just look like shitty AI slop. Ever look at the greats on YouTube and wonder, how do they get those silky transitions or that cinematic B-roll? Well, today's sponsor, Storyblocks, is a huge part of the equation, and it's a bit of kit that I wish I had years ago. So here's what it actually is. Unlimited access to stock video, music, sound effects, and, this bit's the kicker, After Effects templates, which will let you punch way above your weight. These are things like smooth map animations, data visualizations, clean lower thirds, and of course they're templates you can customize to your own needs. It's one subscription that lets you download anything that you need. So just think about those shots that you wish you had. Aerial cityscapes, inside a data center, historical footage, abstract tech visualizations, stuff that could cost you thousands to shoot or license traditionally. And with Storyblocks, you search, you download in 4K, and suddenly you'll have your explainer video with production value that massively punches above your weight. And their licensing is completely clear for YouTube as well. That means no copyright strikes, no demonetization.
That's interesting, Lenny.
surprises.
I didn't do that.
It's a tool we've used before, and I know, especially with the documentary style content I would love to make, like the life and times of Bobby Kotick, I'll be using it again. So whether you're just starting out or you're trying to level up your production, check out storyblocks.com/Bellular. The link is below. I'll begin in the views thing though. So YouTube gave an update on the situation a few days ago. There's a link in the description, and just like we suggested, Restricted was not the sole culprit here. Now, they confirmed no meaningful change in the population of the restricted mode recently, and that it's a separate feature from the age protection rules. But here's the key part.
I mean, they can say this all they want. There was verifiable proof Restricted was part. I'm not saying it's the whole problem or that it's even the majority of the problem, but Restricted being auto-defaulted to being turned on was, in fact, costing views. That was part of the problem, for sure. So the idea that Restricted, they're just trying to hand-wave that, no. That's you doing some CYA. That's you covering your ass. Bullshit.
They are, quote, not using AI to automatically enable restricted mode for viewers. And according to YouTube, all their systems are working correctly, and they weren't trying to gaslight everyone. But they did...
Of course they would say that. If they didn't say that, that would open them up to a lawsuit, I would imagine.
Suggest that the problem could be multifaceted. They said they couldn't explain the view count drop with one answer. So, what could it be? There have been theories. Maybe a return to baseline performance. Maybe back to school. Which I think a lot of us would disregard out of hand as the
Now,
causal...
alright, so return to baseline. Some channels that had high-performing videos are now seeing viewers return to their normal baseline. It can feel like a drop, but it's more so a leveling off after a big spike. I personally am experiencing the opposite. I don't know about anybody else or about everybody else. My videos in February started tanking, and it was unexplainable. I wasn't doing anything different. I tried to do things different to try and get it to go back up. I tried changing how my videos were done. You'll notice if you go back in my backlog, there's a solid like 2-month period where my videos have a totally different editing style. I totally different thumbnail style, the whole nine. I tried everything. My videos between February all the way into August fucking tanked. It was the worst I'd ever done. I was doing worse in February to August of this year than on my first year of YouTube. It was bad. And then midway through August and through September, out of the blue, it's like the faucet turned on again. Don't know what it was. The faucet just turned on again.
Factor here. Maybe it's a better competition between creators. It could be those, but various creators have already debunked these things to various degrees as being universal problems. But YouTube suggested something else, ad blocking software, that might be impacting view reporting accuracy. Now, importantly, they framed this very specifically, that this is not a change in how YouTube counts views. No, it seems the problem is actually somewhere else. Now, here's the thing, YouTube still counts views that they can see. But as it turns out, many of your views have been invisible to them, and
I don't believe this for a moment. I know what he's about to say, and I'm going to break it down. I don't believe YouTube's answer to this for a moment. When they say, oh, if you were using an ad blocker, you know, the view is still there, but we didn't count it because we couldn't see it. No. YouTube has been going to war with ad blockers for a couple of years now, if not longer. I 100% think that they have a hand in this, or that a partner company, you know, whether it's Google, Alphabet, or some third-party company that works with YouTube had a hand in this, that YouTube can say this stuff and it not be a blatant lie. Again, leaving them open for a lawsuit. But no. Make no mistake. The ad blocker stuff that he's about to bring up, YouTube knew about, and this is what they want. YouTube doesn't make money if there aren't ads being shown. So they want ads being shown. They don't like ad blockers.
even right now, are invisible to them, even if you are watching this video. Yes, you could be watching my face, thinking that you are viewing a thing on YouTube, and that view would be counted, but actually, there's a massive chance it isn't. So, one day after YouTube's post, YouTuber Theo Joe took them at their word. You know, if the problem wasn't YouTube's fault, then it must be somewhere else. And that triggered a memory. You see, he had once blocked some YouTube telemetry URLs that were tracking user activities. The result? He kept getting recommended a video, as if he had never watched it. Then some digging found more evidence. Ad blockers like uBlock Origin work through a block list of URLs, and that block list got updated with text blocking youtube.com/API/stats/ATR. Now, when do you think this was merged into the adblock extensions? August 12th. Right when the problem was first noticed. So,
See, and again, this is strange to me because in August is when my views went back to relatively normal. That's true, Leon's views, because I watch your videos on PC with adblock as well. Exactly. Like, there are people that watch me on mobile, there's people that watch me on their TV, there's people that watch me on desktop, and the desktop views are the ones that categorically went down for most people. Frankly, my views went down across the board. So either everyone's watching me on desktop or something else was happening.
yeah, give yourself a gold star if you guessed that one right. And as Theo Joe put it, this kind of explains everything, including a lot of the things that I put forward in my initial coverage. That the desktop views were the only ones being impacted, that RPMs were staying the same, of course, because the disappearing views came from users with adblock, and that relative like rate...
Which that does make sense, the revenue stays the same, because the way you make money on YouTube is through ads. Well, if the people that were using an ad blocker, you weren't getting revenue from those views anyway, so then those people, your views now not counting for those people, really nothing's changed. And in that regard, it is true. Even though my views were down, my monthly income from YouTube didn't really fluctuate all that much. You know, a couple $100 here or there, but it didn't fluctuate all that much in the grand scheme of things. Until relatively recently. But I'm not going to get into that. That's not your guys' problem. But again, still looking into that aspect.
Ratios were going up because interaction tracking was still working. Others validate this theory. Jeff Geerling, another YouTuber, dug into the same evidence, and he noticed that this URL was added and then removed from the block list back in 2021. Meanwhile, Scratchy, the original dev who added the URL, created a guide for manual overrides. Some people won't want this tracker for privacy reasons, but yeah, the impact on creators did have everyone spooked, and justifiably so. Look, this doesn't appear to be YouTube's fault. That's kind of why we're talking about it today in this way. And
Nah, stop the cap. Like, again, I love YouTube. I love being able to make a living on YouTube. I love the fact this is my life. However, it doesn't matter how much you love your job. You can't always say, oh, nope, they were never in the wrong. No. This is... I guarantee this is in part YouTube's fault. Or even if it's not their fault, they didn't do anything to discourage or hide this or try and overcome this because they want you to see ads anyway. 100%.
in the last video, look, I left the door open for an answer because I had a bunch of theories, and ultimately I did think it was adblock related, but we didn't just completely know yet. And this brings up a core tension. We're dealing with an audience avoiding advertisements, and I get it. They're annoying. Now, the knock-on effect on views, well, that is something that everyone needs to factor into sponsor conversations.
All right, now I talked about this on Niat's stream, but we'll talk about it again here for those of you that don't watch Niat's show. Yes, people don't like ads. Let's keep it a buck. People don't like ads. They don't want to see ads. However, the reason that we get so many ads on YouTube is because YouTube has been fighting for so long to try and block ads. Like, it has been a constant war. And in war, internet users always win. When it comes to online wars, internet users always win. So if you as a user are determined to not see ads, you're going to find a way to not see ads. YouTube can do anything they want to try and fight against that. But the internet users are going to win every time. The internet is undefeated. There's a reason we have the phrase, the internet is undefeated. So, in that respect, the more YouTube went to war with AdBlock, the more AdBlock won, the more YouTube would put on more and more ads, the more that would make other people who would not traditionally use AdBlock finally switch to ad blocking. Lo and behold, YouTube loses out on money, creators lose out on money, things to that effect, because YouTube is stupid enough to go against the whims and wills of the internet. Now, and you see this in other industries as well. The streaming services, Netflix, Disney Plus, things like that. They frequently are introducing more and more tiers. Like, oh, this tier's more expensive, but this is a lower tier now with ads. And then the ads get more and more intrusive. Like, if I'm putting on a fucking 1 hour video, and I get 3 different ad break segments that have 3 to, I shit you not, one time I got 5 ads before it went back to the video. Yeah, no, that is fucking insane. YouTube keeps upping the amount of ads to try and compensate for the people using ad blockers. That will only incentivize more people to use ad blockers. That is absolutely insane. But YouTube is doing everything they can. They want that ad. They want that money. Lenny Hondo says, I pay for premium. Premium viewers are awesome in that if you pay for premium and you watch a video, YouTube takes that into account. They say, oh, this individual has premium and they clicked on your video. So we are going to give you a monetary percentage based on the fact that they are using premium. Basically, they make up the difference for like, oh, this person would have seen an ad. They didn't because they're using premium. You get a monetary percentage as a benefit for them using an ad. So people who use premium are not hurting creators in any way, shape, or form.
Because now sponsors will be getting loads of views that YouTube can't track. And that's a little bit of a problem because, well, if it's a burnt-in sponsor, people will be seeing that. So actually, this informational asymmetry is something that plays into the hands of sponsors and definitely plays against creators. But there's a reason, right? There's a reason why creators immediately feared the worst when YouTube started acting weird. Because it's not even the first time they've been weird this year. My frustrations with YouTube have just been kind of bubbling up over the last while. And during the summer, we were working on a video that had the working title, How YouTube Broke Our Channel, and Why You Might Not Have Noticed. And that was actually months before the view count problem started, and we were writing it because we got huge amounts of complaints from loads of videos of AI-generated auto-dubbing that was happening for non-English speaking viewers.
Now, I've heard some people talk about the auto-dubbing. I won't lie. I don't get why this is an issue. Maybe you can open my eyes to it. Maybe I'll agree. Maybe I'll disagree. But, like, in general, I don't care if YouTube auto-dubs my video to make it more accessible to somebody that doesn't speak my language. In my opinion, the videos I do, even if they are covering just, pop culture news and whatnot, in my opinion, it's important news, or at least it's important news for people that value the same things I do. So if that only helps other people in other countries see those videos and get the message, I don't know why that would be a problem. And Hayden says I'd be okay with a couple ads as long as they were skippable. Then YouTube got stupid with it. Exactly.
Should I say viewers with a language not set to English, even if they would prefer to listen to someone who speaks English speaking in English versus a robo-dub. Very bizarre thing. And as it turned out, we had been opted into YouTube's system automatically. We then had to manually deactivate it for multiple videos before we were then able to fully deactivate it. Of course, meanwhile, a lot of viewers probably thought that we were being cheap. and that we didn't give a shit about quality, which is annoying. And it shakes our faith that YouTube actually understands things from our perspective. You can see how some random fucking product manager who wants to hit their flippin' OKR for the quarter is going to see a feature like auto-dubbing and think, oh wow, what a global good. It's just like the Babelfish or the translator from Star Trek. No, people watch YouTube because they want to hear people's authentic voice, not a robotic dub. But again,
You know, I didn't think of it like that. I only looked at this in terms of new viewers who might not have seen you because they don't speak your language. But I mean, I do get a fair amount of viewers from, let's say, Japan, for example. I get a lot of, like, comments in Japanese that I have to hit the translate button on. If my voice is now being auto-dubbed to a robotic Japanese voice, and they don't come back, interesting. Maybe it is worth turning off. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. I'll need to look into the idea of auto-dubbing and turning that off.
it's worse, because that's just what you can see. Behind the scenes, there is an awful use of AI everywhere. Look, I fully believe AI can be a useful part in making a good product, a good software experience. But you can't just ram it into everything. You see, we've got this trend where there are new services available on APIs, and we've got a lot of companies wanting to try and use those services. But the thing is, quite often, it's people who understand AI trying to apply the AI.
UF Omega for a two-banger says, Leon, your opinion on Cindy's hot new nurse avatar? I mean, I fucking love it. Like I said, like I was saying on Countercast yesterday, or Tinfoil Haters yesterday, I got to see it before you guys did. I already knew what was coming. And when I say I knew what was coming, I mean all of you guys. I knew you guys would be coming. So yeah, no, I like it. I'm down. Hopefully you guys enjoy it just as much. And then Saint Hugo for a two-banger says, itchy, tasty. Also, check your Steam. Yeah, give me one moment. I will check Steam right now. That way I can, let me just take this off the screen so I'm not giving away any potential doxing information. I always have a worry about that. Let's see. My man, you didn't need to. You did. You absolute fucking legend. I have been eyeing this game for a fucking minute. I've been eyeing this game for a fucking minute. The Alex Jones NWO Wars. You fucking legend. Thank you so much. That is truly appreciated, brother. You didn't need to, you did. Again, thank you. That is awesome. Between the gift and your guys' super chats, let's go ahead and get you a clip.
Name one word that starts with G pronounced like J. Gentrification. Shoot, should have thought of that. I was just in San Francisco.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Thank you guys so much. Again, truly appreciated.
To something that they do not understand. If you want an AI integration to work correctly, it needs to be done by somebody who actually understands the scope of their job and can then tastefully use the AI thing to help their job. As an example, there have been some cool things regarding video ingest and like tagging and stuff to improve the shitty bits of editor workflows. That's the sort of thing that's great, but a complete contrast to the other side of AI being used in video, which is just the infinite generation of weird slop videos, which I'm sure you have all seen far too much of. Now,
look, I've talked about this with other people. I don't get those videos in my time. Now, I don't watch shorts. I don't know about you guys. I don't watch shorts. So, I don't see a lot of this AI slop. You don't really see AI slop in long-form videos. Or at least I don't. They're not in they don't show up in my recommended in any of my accounts. And I've got multiple YouTube accounts for multiple different reasons. I've, of course, got the main Words of Paradise account that I use specifically for the business. I've got my personal account. And then I've got two other alt accounts that I use for various other purposes. I don't get AI slop in long-form videos. I hear people complain about it, but I feel like they're really overblowing that problem.
if you take a look at YouTube Studio, you can see this. It's the inspiration tool. It's awful, guys. It is awful. It suggests ideas, titles, and thumbnails. I'm pretty good at making thumbnails and writing titles.
I'm gonna be real, this inspiration thing has always been here. People act like this is new. Maybe AI doing it is new, But this inspiration thing has been there for a while. Like, when I first started YouTube, once I got monetized, it was there. It may have been there beforehand, but I didn't notice it till after I was monetized, and that's been over 2 years ago now, or almost 2 years ago. I think over 2 years ago, yeah. I've been monetized for over 2 years, and I had this, like, yo, your viewers watch these other channels, and this is what these other channels are talking about. Maybe do a video in the same vein. And it'd be like, hey, your viewers watch Hypnotic, Clownfish TV, and Tim Pool. And Hypnotic, Clownfish TV, and Tim Pool are all talking about this. Maybe you should do a video on this same subject. I won't lie, I've never really paid attention to it. I've never really used it. I'd talk about whatever I want to fucking talk about. And I think the reason that I have viewers that are, you know, mixed in with people like Hypno and whatnot, A, we share viewership, and B, we talk about similar subjects, so it makes sense that they'd watch me as well as other channels. But I don't know. If you don't like it, don't use it. I've never used the inspiration tool, whether it be AI or the original version. Doesn't really make sense. Yo, Asmongold is back. I guess tomorrow we'll be doing some Asmongold stuff then.
YouTubes are bad. Really bad. They were clearly implemented by people who don't actually know what they're doing because they're probably not creators. They're probably not customer facing and customer first. For shorts, you can now generate...
I don't really do lore videos that much, Hayden. I prefer to intake lore via like reading it myself on the internet as opposed to doing videos. I love retrospectives. Like when I'm doing long form content for like things that have lore, it's usually retrospectives. Oh, a Star Wars retrospective, a Legend of Zelda retrospective, a Resident Evil retrospective. But yeah, lore videos aren't really my bag.
Backgrounds for any audio that you want. Same goes for AI prompts when you look at the comments. Yeah, YouTube doesn't even want us responding to you in our voice. Seriously, whenever I scroll into comments in YouTube Studio, there's just all these little auto replies that it's generated. They're like, yeah, good idea. Now what that does...
I don't have an issue with those either. I very rarely use them. Like, when you guys see me respond to one of your comments, 99% chance it's me typing. Every now and again, I'll click one of those if it was pretty much already what I was going to say anyway. Like, let's say I was going to type out thank you, exclamation point, but it says much appreciated, exclamation point. All right, I'll just click that. But like, I don't see that as an issue. If you don't want to use it, just don't use it. Who cares if the YouTuber has the option to click an AI response or type out a response? Either way, the person is getting responded to. And again, I just choose not to do it. I just respond myself.
Is allow me to give you the appearance that I am interacting with you. And that's just really fucking unethical. But here's the thing. As of last week, all of this stuff just got messier. So, just days after confirming they hadn't changed view count rules, YouTube unveiled new systems at their Made on YouTube event. And look, some of these are great. We can now test multiple thumbnails and titles properly. Now, we've been able to ABC test thumbnails for ages, but that's only so useful because, you know, a title and a thumbnail should be going together instead of one title and 3 thumbnails. So that's a really good tool. And there's some other useful stuff that, I mean, is cool, doesn't really work for us. Stuff like tagging multiple creators in videos, and there are live streaming changes that allow for live reactions, better ads, and better discoverability. And there are better moderation tools, where they will flag where your face is being recreated, basically to fight misinformation. So look at that! A good use of AI and ML stuff. But there is more. Google wants DeepMind to prove its value. And I almost feel bad for Demis in a way. It's as if, you know, dude gets passionate about the computer science, wants to solve some real hard problems. And what's it used for? What does the company take it and use it for? Oh, weird slop things. And this does kind of suck. Though I'll start with a slightly more innocuous one, where there's now a chatbot in YouTube Studio that's basically there to give creator support and analysis. I certainly wonder what would have happened whenever all the view counts were going down and someone asked this chatbot. I have a feeling it really wouldn't have a clue. But you know what? Some people find pages upon pages of analytics a little daunting, so maybe this is a relatively innocuous use of the tech. But now for the bad stuff. There's a new feature where shorts can be entirely AI generated. Fantastic. What if nothing was real? I'm sure users would love that. And when I say entirely generated, I mean that including moving images and songs. You can also edit your footage with AI, and on full videos, they're expanding their auto-dubbing with lip-syncing services. I don't think that will go well. I think it'll go straight to the uncanny valley, and don't put my face in that shit. But what's weird is...
Leon, when it comes to sponsors, do you think take whatever pays the most or rep something you would use yourself? A little bit of both. I've only been approached for sponsorships twice. And in both instances, neither one paid. They paid in product. They were like, hey, do this sponsorship and we will provide you with the product for free. You can have it. And I said no to both of those because I won't lie, it wasn't particularly products I fucking cared about. I don't really drink energy drinks, so I didn't care about an energy drink sponsorship. And the other one was like a headphone type gear, and I'm deaf in one ear. Headphones are actually worse for me because since I'm deaf in my left side and audio is coming out of both ends, there's a reason I don't. Most YouTubers wear headphones and whatnot when they do their streams, and I get ragged on this by badgering them for not doing so. I have my audio come out of my speakers, but that's because that's better for me because I'm deaf in one ear. So no, I didn't take that sponsorship either because I'm not. What good is a set of headphones gonna do me? I'm deaf in one ear. So needless to say, if there was a sponsor that were to approach me and be like, hey, we will pay you XYZ, it's going to depend on what it is. It will absolutely depend on what it is. Like if someone says, hey, here's a sponsorship to get people out there to vote for Kamala Harris or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm not fucking taking that because I'm diehard anti her politics. But if it's something innocuous like let's say the Mouse PI game, and they're like, yo, here's $1,000 for you to play this game on stream and give it a review, I would initially be like, okay, am I free to give it whatever review I think is fair, or are there strings attached? Do I need to be XYZ positive? Do I need to do so on, so on? At that point, I would need to ask questions before I accept anything. But yeah, no, point is, I've been out for sponsorships twice. I denied both of them because there was no monetary value involved, and if I'm going to be sponsored and I'm going to be trying to shill your product, I feel like I should be paid for that.
To me is this: does YouTube really need more content? Like, do they need content so bad that they're happy for it to be basically just
exactly, War Wizard
slop? I mean, it almost seems like that, to the point where now I find it harder to find the videos that I actually want to watch, because whenever I refresh my homepage and browse,
I would 100% do a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship, 100%, and the reason why is for the meme, and I know you guys would know that's the reason why. I trust you all to be smart enough as my audience, because I like to think I've got a pretty smart audience, for you to know that if I took a Raid Shadows Legends sponsorship, it would purely be for the lulz. But yeah, I would 100% do a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. Absolutely.
About, I see so many slop videos and slop channels. Sometimes they're in my recommended box, even though they've got like 300 views and are clearly of no quality. Yet YouTube
have fun, ball.
Puts
Be
them
safe.
In my face and now is making tools to make even more slop. It's bizarre. And it's getting to the degree where YouTube themselves are looking utterly preposterous. They did a 6-minute recap, and the way that they were talking in a very stilted manner of, oh, I'm so excited. Oh, look, I could generate a corgi for my short. Do you people watch videos? I know Renee knows what it's like to create video. I just find the whole situation goddamn baffling, because it doesn't seem like anything that anyone with a brain would want to watch. And speaking of that, have you looked at Facebook and Twitter lately, where both are inundated with crap that exists purely to just game the system and drive engagement scams? It's bad. So I think the creator reaction does make a lot of sense, because from our perspective, they announced an AI age verification thing. Then we had a significant view count drop. And that's all in the backdrop of real nervousness from creators, where we just want to make videos and give them to you guys so you can watch them. We don't want fake auto-dubbing to happen.
Bad Dragon. Those are the dragon dildos, right? I would 100% do the dragon dildo sponsorship. Absolutely.
We don't want our videos to be clogged out by a bunch of weird AI slop that's taking up space on home screens. If you watch someone else because their video is more interesting to you than mine, I'm happy. But if you never find my video or their video because your home feed is getting inundated with slop, everyone loses.
All right. Controversial opinion here. Controversial opinion. I don't give a fuck about this problem. Because here's the way I think about it. I scroll through my so when I browse on YouTube, just as a viewer, this isn't even from a YouTuber's perspective. When I browse through YouTube as a viewer, I go through my recommended feed first. If I see some of my recommended feed I want to watch, I click on it. Now, if I scroll through my whole recommended feed, now I watch YouTube on my TV, right? That's my main way of watching YouTube. I watch YouTube on my TV. I'm either sitting in my chair here gaming, I've got it going on my TV over there, or I'm laying in bed and I'm watching it on my TV that way. So, either way, the recommended feed has a limit. It stops after anywhere from 15 to 30 videos. Odds are I can find something I want to watch, and my recommended feed is very good about giving me a mix of new shit and recommended based on shit that I've been watching. But if I do make it through the whole recommended feed, and there's nothing I find interesting, I just go to my subscriptions feed, and I look and see who's uploaded new shit, and I watch from there. Like, so many people, and if you guys are one of these people and you're about to be called out, oh well, it sucks to suck. So many people are so lazy, they don't check their subscriptions feed, which is two kinds of problems. One, people get unsubscribed from channels they don't know they've been unsubscribed from all the time. I had this dedicated viewer for like 2 years straight named Vasinum. He would appear in every stream, he would appear in every video, and then he fell out off. He was gone. I didn't know how to contact him. I know how to check on him. Nothing. I had no idea how to get in touch with him. But I knew he was there every video, every stream. And last week, Vasinum came back. Commented on 3 videos in a row. And I was ecstatic. I was like, yo, Vasinum, where you been, dude? I've been wondering. And he's like, YouTube unsubscribed me from your channel. I didn't even know it. So one, you should always be checking your subscription feed to see if YouTube has been unceremoniously unsubscribing you from shit. But also, just because you're subscribed to something, even with notifications on, doesn't mean it's going to appear on your recommended feed at all. Atreus used to never appear in my recommended feed because YouTube was, in fact, shadow banning him because he committed some violations on YouTube. So I would have to go to his channel via the subscription page and find out if he uploaded anything new. Is that extra steps? Sure. It'll take you an extra 2-3 minutes. But don't be fucking lazy. We're so used to the instant gratification of algorithms that people don't check the obvious old models that are still there. So, yes, I mean, I do not give a fuck if YouTube puts a bunch of AI slop in the recommended feed, because maybe, just maybe, it'll force people to actually start going through the subscription feed again, which is what they should be doing, in my opinion.
You included. Apart from YouTube, but only in the short term. Because while they may be able to juice up some of their numbers by throwing all this shit at the wall to see what sticks, in the long term, user experience matters. And the more YouTube is a degraded experience, full of slop, with low rates of trust, well, and people are going to want to go elsewhere. And certainly, YouTube, you've accelerated all of my plans of building our off-platform presence way more. Because I don't trust you anymore. What does the future hold? Well, in July, YouTube recorded its 4th straight month as the biggest TV broadcaster in American homes, with 12.5% of all big screen viewing. I've certainly noticed the trend. I watch YouTube a lot on my TV.
YouTube is literally only on my TV. Unless I need to watch something else for like a stream or something, like for example, tomorrow on Gooch's show, we're doing the Kaiju number 8 stream. So yeah, I'll watch Kaiju number 8 on my TV. But 99.9% of the time. Sorry, guys. Didn't realize. My bad. Thank you. 99.9% of the time on my TV is YouTube. That is what is playing. 100%. If some of you like watching, I look for their videos. I go look for them. Getting unsubbed or not, getting notifications is a cop-out. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you that 100%, Tiger Rex King. Tiger King Rex.
And the executives behind that success have a hope. And that hope is that YouTube can replace the cable box. And what they learn from TV audiences will feed back into everything else. Because, as all of this ad block tomfoolery shows us, where can you get ads that can't be ad blocked? On mobile and TV. Now in today's updates, almost all focus is on making streaming or shorts more approachable. The videos where most views were lost, well, they were traditional long-form bits of content. And I suppose we got an olive branch in YouTube's announcements, a thing with easily altered brand sponsorship slots that aren't baked in. And you know what? That could be a great feature for us, sure. But quite clearly, the company's focus is elsewhere. And this is all coming after a summer of pressure, where YouTube wants creators to use generative AI to keep up. They want us to go to the inspiration tab and see what their fun little slop engine says we should make, even though...
Maybe YouTube wants this, that's fine. I don't do it. I don't do it, and I'm not hurting for it. I don't know what these larger channels. I'm obviously a very modest, small channel. You know, a little over 8,000 subs. But you guys show up for every video, show up for every stream. You guys are generous. You do your donations, which, again, I truly appreciate. And in my opinion, I've spent time, building this community with you guys in a way that is the most non-intrusive possible. I never put mid-roll ads in my videos. Every stream is monetized, so there's an ad at the beginning, but I never do mid-roll ads on the streams. Because, to me, that is an interruption that is inconvenient for you. I actually do, and this isn't to sound self-aggrandizing or anything, but I do take a hit on revenue by not doing mid-rolls ads in streams and mid-roll ads for my videos. But the way I sees it, you guys are more likely to stick around and keep watching the streams and videos if you're uninterrupted. And by the same token, selfishly as it is, if I offer you guys a better streaming experience than people that do mid-roll ads, you're probably more likely to donate or whatnot. Like, why would you donate to somebody who you're not enjoying watching because of mid-roll ads? So it's mutually beneficial.
It is mostly full of awful ideas. I suppose they want to keep Google happy. Google's pouring billions into DeepMind. And you know what?
Exactly,
In many ways,
Schizosaurus.
do get
I've seen that too,
do
and I find
understand
that
why.
disgusting.
There's things like AlphaFold. Look truly incredible. And I've certainly been able to find loads of AI use cases within my work. The thing is, none of it is facing you. Because when I see these tools, do you know what I do? I think, how can I use this to get rid of some of the shitty stuff that I don't like in my job so I can do the things that I like more and be more creative? And the funny thing is, just about every AI startup or big AI thing that I've seen be pitched to me is made by someone who doesn't understand my job, who is just trying to capitalize on AI now being a thing, and there being a bit of a bubble. That is the complete wrong way to go about it. You need to go to the people creating the value, and you need to see how they can use this new technology as a tool to do
Lenny,
their
that's
job
hilarious.
better and to hone their craft, not by replacing their craft, but by helping them get rid of the shitty trudgery. For a good example of machine learning and stuff, the World of Warcraft team uses some machine learning stuff to resize helms for different characters. That means that their artists don't have to waste loads of time doing boring, mundane work to make helms fit heads. That's a great use of this tech.
Really?
And it couldn't be more the opposite
Yeah, no,
of
this
prompting
is
some
my hair.
fresh new slop to upload to YouTube for someone to watch, I guess. This might be a bit controversial, but my hope is that the bubble bit bursts and we can just continue on with the thoughtful use of some of this technology in a way that is not just stupid bubble hype cycle bullshit. But I don't think I'm an optimist in this one, if I'm being honest. Let me know what you think. And especially...
No, that was an alright video. He did make some good points. Some things about it I appreciated. But by the same token, he also said stuff that I think is just kind of bitching and moaning about AI that I don't think is relevant. Like, if you don't like that YouTube's doing this, then just fucking ignore it. I don't know. Maybe I'm too easygoing. Maybe I'm not as, like, numbers and analytics oriented as a YouTuber that I should be. But my thought process is I wake up, I make a video, or, well, usually I make my videos at night. But the point is, I make my video, I edit my video, I set it to post the next day at noon, and then I set up my live streams, I go live, and the quality of my work and my words and whatnot and my opinions will speak for itself. And you guys will either like the video, you'll stick around for the streams, the whole nine. I don't really feel the need to worry about any of this excess bullshit when it comes to AI, because I don't use it to begin with. Now, I use it for descriptions and thumbnails, or descriptions and titles. I make all my thumbnails myself. But yeah, descriptions and titles, I won't lie, I use AI for that. But anything else, any of these services that YouTube offers and stuff, I just don't bother. AI wasn't a thing when I got started, so I wasn't doing it then. I'm not doing it now. I don't see why to hyperfixate on things that are optional to begin with. I think a number of people are super focused on the algo, including now. That I focus on. That I focus on the algorithm, absolutely, for sure. Where's the video? I'll post the video. Give me 1 sec. But yeah, no, I mean, I definitely do pay attention to the algorithm, because that can hurt. The algorithm can definitely hurt. So I pay attention to trends and stuff like that. There's the video, by the way. But yeah, all in all, yeah, the AI stuff he was complaining about, I think, is more or less useless to complain about. All right, we got a little bit more time. We'll do one more video. One more video. Get them last minute donos in because I'm a gripped in son of a bitch. Y'all, we want to see. You want to see some Halloween, some horror gameplay. You want me to live stream some horror games? We're gonna have to hit some goals and shit. Woke NHS claims inbreeding has benefits. Fucking what? Fucking what, son? All right, let's check this.
Hello, I am Philip Kisserly, and you will be forgiven for thinking that you've been transported to a Pakistani mountain village. Why? Because our NHS, our glorious NHS, that thing that you've only got 24 hours to save, the entity which the country is attached to, has been extolling the virtues of inbreeding. Yes, that's right. Just have a look at this. Okay, just have a look at this. First cousin marriages has benefits, says NHS guidance, despite...
I saw this headline! I saw this headline in my Google News recommended feed. I didn't click on the video, on the article, because I didn't care, but holy shit. Okay, let's go.
Defect risk. Okay, we are not in the Middle Ages here. We are not in some kind of primeval society. This is Britain. This is the end of September 2025. Yet here we are with this tribal honor-based system type stuff that is being foisted upon us by our very own health service. Now, this isn't new. This has been in the public domain for quite a while. Cut back to summer this year, and Iqbal Mohammed, MP for, yes, you've guessed it, Dewsbury and Batley, was arguing for exactly the same thing in Parliament, in the English House of Commons.
Imagine going to the government, like going to the government and petitioning for the right to fuck your sister. Like, bro, I'm not too far from the Arkansas border. But goddamn, like, come on now. Come on, there's... Elhan Omar called, she wants her shtick back.
He was talking about it tightening family bonds. I guess that's one way of looking at first cousin marriage. It does tighten family bonds, but that can only ever be a bad thing, and especially, yes, in Britain 2025. Let's just have a quick look at what he said.
The way to redress this is not to empower the state to ban
Bro looks like a Bin Laden supporter in a three-piece suit. Come on now. Not even three-piece. He couldn't afford the third piece. It's a two-piece suit. No vest. Bro, are we shocked that Beardo McGee here, sorry, Beardo Habib here, is the one advocating for inbreeding?
from marrying each other, not least because I don't think it would be effective or enforceable. Instead, the matter needs to be approached as a health awareness issue and a cultural issue where women are being forced against their will to...
So, God Carryman, dropping 5 words of Paradise Gifties, you absolute legend. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. Here's the dealio. Here's the dealio. I don't like inbreeding. I'm not a fan of inbreeding. But since that's what we're talking about right now, I will tell you guys what I am a fan of. Bestiality.
Horse semen's great.
I'm digging horsecock.
Is your cock a horse cock? You will never
as I hate horse.
My favorite stallion that I keep in my top drawer kinda goes hard though.
Cause there is no cock like horse cock. Send your asshole into shock and eat horse.
I don't know how we're going to ever top horsecock. Bingo, bango, bongo, there it is. For obvious reasons, I must say I am not actually a fan of bestiality. I just thought that would work perfectly for the joke there. Thank you again so much, Go Carrymon. Truly appreciate you, legend. And no, that's not Paul. That's Cookies. It's my roommate.
Undergo marriage.
Okay, he talks on and on about
What up,
that.
man?
He talks about it as a health issue and a cultural issue. Yes, it's certainly both of those, and it's very, very worrying on those grounds. We are, as I say, living in Britain, probably the most complex multicultural society on Earth, or at least one of them.
It's not complex, homie. Like, I will agree it's probably the most quote-unquote multicultural, and that's if I'm being generous. But it's not complex. You have an invasion of foreign nationals that don't agree with your way of life, that don't agree with your way of government, that don't even agree with respecting your property or your women. And to some people, women are property, and to those people, based. But not only do they want to fuck your 12-year-old sister, they want to fuck their own 12-year-old sister. This isn't complicated. It's objectively bad.
Now, that's not necessarily a good thing, but we are living in a very complex society. And yet these calls for primitive, family-based traditions are very, very worrying indeed. I mean, they're so worrying that even Pakistan is suggesting that they are not at all good. Just take a...
Wait, what? So these Pakistani nationals that are invading the UK and clamoring to have incest be like acknowledged and allowed by the British government, even Pakistan themselves are like, hey, we're real sorry about these guys. We disagree. That's amazing.
In Pakistan, this was in 2022. In Pakistan, this is the press here. Cousin marriages leading to genetic disorder. Scientists say inbreeding is causing an unusually high number of genetic mutations.
It's not unusual.
Spread in Pakistan, leading to disabilities
unusual.
in children,
Get my Tom Jones on.
marriages, and so on and so forth. Yet here we are in Britain promoting this practice, where offspring tend to have an IQ of about 45 and can't actually leave the house. But hey, who cares? Cultural customs and
that is true, War Wizard.
Religious fundamentalism comes first.
That's
So
a good
let's
question,
just get
Roman.
back to the NHS, because this is really important. It's as frightening. This is as frightening a thing as I've seen for a long time. Last week, the
Agreed,
NHS
Lenny.
published guidance on cousin marriage, first cousin marriage, and it said it linked to stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages.
Stronger family support systems. Yo, imagine being like let's imagine you're a 28-year-old girl, right? You're a 28-year-old Pakistani girl, and like you're short on rent. You need another $200 to make rent. So you call up your older Pakistani brother. He's 32 or so, and you're like, "Yo, bro, can you Venmo me $200 so I can make rent this month?" And Pakistani bro is like, nah, I can't send you $200. And 28-year-old Pakistani sister's like, remember that one time I let you fuck me? He's like, oh, you're right. We're so close now. All right, here's that $200. That's what's being told here.
Now, this isn't what the NHS should be really dealing with. The NHS should be dealing with health. It should be dealing with well-being. It should be dealing with people thriving and prospering. This isn't about, again, these primitive tribal instincts that is foisting upon us. This is an ideological, this is a religious...
Bro, I bet the Empire Strikes Back is like huge in Pakistan.
Set of ideas and debates which should have nothing to do with the NHS. Why? Because we all have to pay for it. Okay? And none of us, nobody in their right mind wants this nonsense. Just don't forget that all of this stuff comes on the back of
Exactly,
the
I man.
proposed Islamophobia redefinition law that's reared its head again this week. Okay, we are talking about a definition that will remove Islam from, well, it will put it above criticism and it will put it beyond reproach. This
Islam is already above criticism and reproach in the UK.
Situation. I went on GB News earlier this week and I talked about it being a kind of cultural suicide. If we allow this to happen, I think it will be a kind of cultural suicide.
You guys are already committing cultural suicide.
To that position, because this religion is described by its own adherents as a conquering religion. Okay, and also we have within the Home Office at the moment, we have an Islamic network, as many people know, that has around 850 people. That's within the Home Office. Currently, MI5 watch lists, that's not Prevent, this is just MI5 watch lists. 75% of the people on those watch lists, the workload is dedicated to 75% of Islamists who are terrorists or potential terrorists. There's something happening here. There is a cultural message being conveyed to us, but we refuse as a society to listen to it, and that is incredibly alarming. This week, the Labour Party said they will do everything they can to preserve free speech around this law, but the law is designed itself to curtail free speech. This is about religious fundamentalism.
You guys don't, no, the UK doesn't have free speech to begin with. Quit perpetuating that lie.
I don't know what you think about this. I'd love to see some of your comments below this as you watch this. This is about cultural practices and patterns of behavior. Okay, that's really, I think, what it amounts to. Okay. This attempt to, how can we put it, to normalize incest has massive ramifications, okay? As I said on the television at weekend, I'm from Bury, which is in Greater Manchester, so I'm very, very familiar with places like Rochdale and places like Oldham. They have changed massively in my lifetime, okay? They are divided down the middle now, and Islam is at the center of that divide. It isn't just about religion. It isn't just about ideology. More importantly, and more definitely for those particular places, it's about cultural practices, and cultural practices surrounding who and what children are, and more importantly, what they are for. If they are just barter material in families to be married off to cousins, then they are less than people, and that is extremely, extremely worrying. I think.
You know, normally I would make a joke about kids here, because, you know, on this channel, no jokes are off limits. We make a lot of dead kid jokes and whatnot, because frankly, I find them funny. I can't even make a joke about what's happening to children here, because it is actually that disgusting and horrific. Me making a joke would almost be like legitimizing, like, I can't, for once I found a line, holy shit.
I think there's something else around this as well. If we put, as I say, Islam beyond reproach,
catch you later, Kalika.
We promote the one thing that we've had massive problems with over the last 10, 20, 30 years, and that is a culture of silence. This society is terrified, actually, of saying anything about Islamist behavior, about cultural practices, about modes of behavior. Why? Because people are frightened of being called racist. People are just abused. Now,
I'll say it loud and proud, dude. Islam is an inferior, disgusting culture/religion that embodies the worst practices of human nature throughout our entire run as a species. They are so backwards that even like if you were to read some of the most egregious atrocities of the Bible that happened thousands of years ago, you'd be like, Well, damn, those Bible dudes, Abraham and whatnot, they pretty progressive. Like, no, fuck every bit of that. Call me a racist all you want. Islam is a goddamn scourge on this earth.
Westminster think tank, very, very, very well respected think tank, Policy Exchange, published a paper just last year in 2024 saying Islamophobia, the word Islamophobia, was used to stifle debate. Now, I think that's absolutely true. I don't think we should even be using the word Islamophobia at all, because it is about imposing silence on the debate.
Islamophobia is based, and we need more of it. Guys, I was thinking about this last night. I was literally thinking about this last night. Islamophobia, right? I don't remember how it came up, but Islamophobia came up last night. And I was gonna make a tweet about this, but I had video games to play. But no, you hear the term Islamophobia. You wanna know what you don't hear? Buddhismophobia or Buddhaphobia. Buddhaphobia does kind of have a ring to it, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, why don't we have Buddhaphobia? Why aren't people all like, oh shit, we need to keep these Shaolin monks. They're basically the fucking, they're the skull, what were the people that shave their heads? The white supremacists that shave their heads, neo-Nazis. They're basically the skinheads of the East. Like, Buddhaphobia isn't a thing. Why? Maybe because Buddhists don't come over to these Western countries and start, like, taking their 12-year-old women hostage. Not even women, girls. Their 12-year-old girls hostages and forcing themselves upon them to reach the state of enlightenment. Like, Islamophobia cropped up for a fucking reason. And it wasn't just because some douchebags decided to hijack some planes at the behest of the American government, which was totally in on it, and fly them into some fucking towers.
Let's not forget that Islamophobia is a word coined by the Muslim Brotherhood, which is, in many countries across the world, a prescribed terror group.
Bro, there's so many inbreds and, like, genetic anomalies. They should be called the Muslim Brotherhood of Inbred Mutants. Like, instead of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants from the X-Men, we got the Muslim Brotherhood of Inbred Mutants. Because that's what they are. These are straight up village people, dude. They are a tribe. They are a tribe, bro. Like, I've seen people at Walmart that look like goddamn Chris Pratt compared to these people.
And our own government says it works against our interests. So what are we doing here? We are appropriating terminology which is actively harmful to us and using it against ourselves. Okay, but let's just get back to this notion of silence and closing people down. This is a bit of my debate from GB News, which was held on Sunday.
Well, what Philip just said there is typical, I'm afraid, of scaremongering. As the Shadow Equalities Minister, Communities Minister has also said, it's typical conversation. I mean, there was absolutely no link between the grooming gangs and...
I can't understand a word of what this dude said except for grooming gangs. And how hilarious is it that that's the one word I can understand from this clown is grooming gangs.
Islam in the case he reports.
Yeah, you just heard it there. That man, who's a lawyer, actually, just said there is no link between Islam and the grooming gangs in Rochdale and...
Really? There's no link between Islam and grooming gangs in the UK? Last I checked, we didn't hear a whole lot of Protestant grooming gangs or Catholic grooming gangs we did kind of hear about, but that's different. Not okay. It also needs to be addressed. Fuck Catholicism, but it is different.
Oldham. Those men, those Pakistani heritage men, were all Muslims, okay? So there is a link. There's a very definite link. It's a particular kind of cultural practice. It is a mode of behavior, and still they are trying to close us down. Still they are trying to stop us talking about this, okay? And he just called me racist. He just came out and flat out said I was racist and Islamophobic. And I said, no, we do not. And I want everybody to take this on board. We don't accept that accusation anymore because it's absolutely meaningless. As I'm speaking today, all of the Labour Party have been calling Nigel Farage racist. Okay, why? Because he wants women and children to be safe on our streets, because he wants his country back, because he wants control of the borders, he wants a sensible policy on immigration. If that makes him racist, then I'm racist as well. And I'm perfectly happy to say that, because I want to push back on this. I want us all to push back on this. I know it's not easy. I know about cancellation. I know all about that. But we really do have to put our foot down and we have to say no. Because if we don't, we contribute to this culture of silence, which is the problem. That is the main thing that we have to deal with. Because if you can't debate, if you can't really hold your opponents to account, then terrible things do happen. And these patterns of behavior establish themselves, and people just look the other way. They tut and moan and say, oh, it's terrible, but you know, what can we do? We need to do something, okay? Because if we do not talk about Islam, if we do not call out terrible practices, cultural practices which are completely alien to this country, if we do not say
agreed, LMA, call me a racist all you want, I will take pride in that shit.
Who are really going
at this point, if that's what if that's how low the bar is, then sure.
Women, because so much of this stuff is completely sexualized, okay? And white women are just seen to be fair game by Pakistani men in places like Oldham and Rochdale. That's just a fact. I'm not actually saying anything controversial there. But two children, okay, young girls, underage girls, are also victims. They have nothing to do with the religion, the culture, the practices, anything. They just really don't. They are just unlucky because they happen to be in the proximity of these people, and they also happen to be poor. That's their crime. They happen to be poor. They are defenseless. They are vulnerable. And we are in a situation now where our own NHS is promoting the kinds of practices that
Mad Hatter hit the nail on the head.
Allow these atrocious
a lot easier to take over when you don't have opposition.
Not only do they happen to Pakistani women and girls, who I say are just treated like barter, they happen to white working class girls in these communities who have every right to be there, who are being victimized, who are being abused, who are being raped. This is terrible. This is a national scandal. We know this, and yet the government doesn't, because it will not.
No, the government does know, but they want to perpetuate it. It is beneficial to them.
Local independent inquiries that just mean
it's very ignorant to say they don't know.
So
they do know, and they endorse it.
This stuff out. We do need to say that these barbaric practices, these family-based, tribal, honor-based practices, like cousin marriage, are just an absolute no-no for this country. They are wrong. We must not let them happen. We must shame the people that are doing this, and we must stand up for women and children. That's it from me. Thank you.
Based. Good video. Good video, good recommendation. All right, guys, it's time to get out of here. I was cutting this close. I actually need to pick up the cat from the vet. So I knew, I got about, I've got till about 3 o'clock or so my time, and lo and behold, we wrapped it up nicely. Let's go ahead and set up a raid. Give me a moment. Let's see who's live. Let's set up a raid. And we will, of course, be back tomorrow for more lunch hour shenanigans. Who is live right now? Mike Hollow's live. Yarnwich, Moo. Enzo, you know what? It's a We Watch. Yeah, we'll raid Enzo's We Watch. Let's make this one of his biggest We Watches. We'll raid it right now. Hop into Enzo's We Watch. Say Vital Idol Raid. For those of you that donated, thank you so much. It is truly appreciated. It's because of you that I continue to get to have the best job in the world with the best fucking community in the world. Hail the Vital Idols. And I will see y'all tomorrow for the lunch hour. Until next time, it's all here in the Neurosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.